Welcome to another episode of the Peak Potential Success Show. My name is Fong. I'm an entrepreneur, business strategist, real estate investor, speaker, and also a best-selling author. And every single day, I help others unlock potentials and guide them to succeed. Today on the show, we have another great guest. I've been very, very fortunate to have the opportunity to speak at one of his events. Absolutely amazing event. A collection of great speakers, great business experts, and also amazing leaders in that group. And I was just so humbled and so honored to be amongst that group. And it was absolutely amazing. And when I heard him speak, wow, he blew me away because of his energy and the value that he added to his audience. And people just sat there, listened, and just want to grasp as much of that information that he was sharing. So I'm very excited to have him here today. He is a business expert, a leadership expert, and also helps lots of people with employee engagement as also employee loyalty as well. He's been featured all over the world in TV, radio, podcasts. He facilitates tons and tons of leadership conferences, workshops, and also trainings as well. He helps companies transform their culture, their leadership to increase their profits, their sales, and also with superior performances as well. So please welcome leadership consultant, speaker, and somebody who's all the way from Africa, Mr. GODSWILL ERONDU.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fong. It's my pleasure to be here with you. Thank you for those kind words you said about me. I'm also pleased and honored to come in contact with you and know someone like you. You are full of energy. You are a great personality, and I admire the work that you do. The people who hear you and share from the things that you have, they are so blessed. I'm glad that I'm here together with you today. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you very much to you as well. When I heard you speak with that kind of energy, I knew I need to up my game so that I have the same amount of energy level to match you. But thank you for being here and sharing some of your time with us. I just want to know, was leadership something that you've always wanted to get into? Is like, were you born and go, I'm a natural leader, I'm gonna go and teach leadership, I'm gonna show people how to become a great leader? Or what was that process? What was your story to get to become somebody who's an expert in leadership?
Wow, that's quite interesting. Thank you so much for that beautiful question. It's a very important one. First of all, I'd like to share my view here. My view is that leaders are born. And I say that everywhere I go. And when I say that, I do not just say that without adding to it or explaining that. What I mean is that leaders were born like every other human being. Every other human being was just conceived by a woman. And after 9 months, a birth comes from, and as a child. And so in that context, leaders are born. But then every human being that is born with the potential to lead, the potential to make a difference in our world. That's my belief. So the people who we see leading or doing one thing or the other that we admire or inspire us in one way or the other in the work that they do, it's simply because they have discovered that they have this potential in them. And so they developed it, and now they are deploying it, so everyone is profiting from it. So for me, was I born with leadership skills and abilities? Of course, I was born with that, but I had to discover it. I had to discover it sometime that I can lead. I had to discover that I have something in me that can make a difference in the world. I had to discover that I can be significant. And so I developed that, and today I can lead. I can help other people. I can help organizations and businesses do the things that they want to do. About my journey and how did it happen that I became a leadership consultant. Many years ago, I had some thoughts in me. I was working inside an organization then, and I had some questions in my heart. I was very concerned about why people do the things that they do. Why do people do the things that they do? And, I was really concerned about it, and I wanted to understand that now. That wasn't my area studying in the higher institution that actually had run a business in that area within me, and I wanted to understand. So I began to take some trainings. I bought some books, and I began to read. And I began to study some materials. I read several articles. I took some trainings, like I said. And then as I did that, I began to understand why people do the things that they do. And then I began to observe why business leaders are making such kind of mistakes, and the things that they are doing in their organizations, the way they treat their employees, the way they run their organizations. I observed that some business leaders have great visions, but those visions are not accomplished. Yes, they are running businesses that resources are coming in, but in the real sense of it, the vision for which they set up the organization, the vision for which they set up the business, they are not fulfilling that, even though they are making money. And you get that? And I began to observe that. And so I said, no, because in my training, I could see the gap. I could see what is missing. I said, no, we've got to help business leaders. That's what led me to leadership consulting today that I do. And we've been able to help different organizations. We've been able to help different business leaders set up structures, set up an environment that can help them accomplish their vision. Because my belief is that business is a tool for changing the world. Business is a tool for making a difference. Not many business people understand that. So many people set up that because they want to just get money and take care of their bills and take care of their families and all of that. Build houses, live a good life. There's something more. There's something beyond that. And so that's my drive in setting up, in joining leadership consulting.
Mm-hmm. Now, you talked about how businesses are missing something. They're not treating their employees well, or they're not running their companies well, so that with good leadership. So what are some of the most common things that you see in businesses that they're not doing correctly, or they're missing something that you go in and go, you know what, if you change this, if you tweak this, then you're going to get that employee engagement, you're going to get that loyalty, you're going to get that increase in sales. What do you see is the most common things that businesses are missing?
That's quite interesting. Thank you so much, Fong. I wrote an article some time ago, and I titled that article, Enabling Your Employees for Superior Performance, Enabling them. Now, one of the things that I shared the story of a gentleman that I have met, and he knew me as a leadership consultant. And so, but he shared with me his ordeal in his organization. He has these workers. It's an academic institution. And he has these workers working with him. And over a period of time, he is not satisfied with the results that he's seeing from his workers, his employees, his teachers who teach the pupils. Now this school, the population is over 1,000 pupils in the school. You understand that? So it's quite big somehow, But he was not getting satisfied. He wasn't getting the kind of performance he wanted from his workers. So when he approached me, I came on board and then had some interaction with the management team. And I decided also not just to talk with the management team, I also decided to talk with the workers themselves, not just the management. And as I did, I understood that this young man has intelligent workers. The workers were intelligent. They could do more, but they were demoralized. They were not motivated to do the work that they're doing. So through my interaction, I understood that this gentleman was being a command and control leader. All he did was to issue instructions. All he did was to give orders. He was the boss. And so he sat there his words were the last. Wasn't willing to listen to the workers. Now, these are mistakes, because when you have an environment where your workers, all they do is to take your instructions and execute, you inhibit their own leadership potentials in them. You hamper their opportunities to express their own leadership, and that's hurting the business, because they won't give their best. Over time, as that continues, what happens is that the people will become demoralized. They'll be or if they stay there, they will not be able to contribute as much as they should have. You see, so that can make an organization to become a flight arena in the context that people come in and after a short while they take off their flight and go elsewhere. The business is not growing. Money might be coming, but the business is not growing. So these are some of the mistakes that I have seen that business people do. So they try to just be the boss. They try to only not give opportunities for their workers to express their own leadership. So there's no freedom. And when they want to give feedback, their feedback is usually not inspiring. Their feedback does not inspire their workers to improve and outperform themselves, because that's what should be. That's very, very important. I had an event some time ago, and one of those guest speakers couldn't make it. And so he sent someone else to come and speak at the event, and I accepted that, and we went on board and he spoke. But when he finished, he behaved in such a way, in my communication with him, he behaved in such a way that was not appropriate. Now, one of my beliefs is that we can always improve, to outperform, to be the better version of ourselves. We can always do that. And so what did I do? Rather than lash out on this gentleman and talk down on him, because the way he was trying to approach me was wrong. So what I did, I approached the person that brought him on board. I said, here's what happened. I said, I'm talking to you about this. I'm not angry, but I'm talking to you about this because I understand that this gentleman you brought forward could be missing an opportunity and he may not be aware. You see, that's the perspective. He might not be aware that he's missing an opportunity. So I said, you may have to talk with him because look at what he did. And if he continues this way, he probably will miss opportunities that will move him to his next level. Now, this was feedback I was giving to this gentleman. Now, with this feedback I have given to him, he can go and work on and have a conversation with this other gentleman that can help him become a better version of himself. And that's what I think the business leaders should do. When you have people working in your organization and they make mistakes and they do all kinds of things, you don't attack their character, but that's what most business people do. Attack their character. They say there's nothing in you, you are stupid, you are foolish, and all of that. And that's wrong. That's very, very wrong. Another thing that I see that they do is a lot of times they don't keep their words. They don't keep, they can make a promise, they can agree on something, and then when you come back and it becomes an issue to keep those words, it demoralizes workers because they are looking up to you. They want to trust you, but when you do that, they lose their trust. And believe you me, every relationship that lacks trust cannot, the people involved in those relationships cannot give their best. These are some of the errors that I see business leaders make. There are so much, there's more we can talk about, but these are some of the things that I observe that they do and they are wrong.
Mm-hmm. Now, when it comes to working with your employees, there's a lot of different types of people out there, a lot of people with different backgrounds, different goals, different dreams, different aspirations. As a leader, you need to be able to understand where most of them are coming from to get the most out of them. And you can't treat them all the same way, right? Because one method with this person might work, but that method may not work with this person. So I believe a leader has to put on different hats and different know different leadership styles in order for you to really lead more people. So for you, what's the best way of understanding or getting the best out of the majority of your employees?
That's quite interesting. And what I usually advise business leaders is to be a coach rather than a boss. A boss wants to exercise authority. a boss wants to exude dominion or dominance, but if you really want to get the best out of the people, that's not necessarily the best way. I think that every business leader who has people working with him should be a coach, because it was Jack Welch who said, when you were given a position of leadership, you were not given a crown of glory. He said it's a responsibility to bring out the best in others. You see, the focus of this on the people. So the best way to do that is to function as a coach. And if you have ever observed coaches, you will observe that they have different people in their teams, playing different roles in their teams. And they do not approach all the people with the same approach. They have different ways to approach different people because, like you said, we are coming from different backgrounds. We have different personalities, and of course, to play. I wrote an article sometime, and I said, talent. I called it talent role fit, the easiest way to achieve optimal performance. The easiest talent role fit. Everyone has talent. And for each talent, there's a personality that goes with that. And you need to understand that these personalities are treated different ways. There are things that I see, I am inspired. Someone that may say it and may not be inspired. For example, when you talk about recognizing the efforts and the input of your people, there are people that when you recognize them in the public, they are excited about it. It inspires them. But there are some other people that when you recognize them in the public, they feel shy. It doesn't go well with them because they don't like that public appearance. Now, that's their person. That's the way it doesn't mean that they may not be able to change or improve from that, but that's naturally how they want to function or how they are. So you see, a coach will recognize and observe the people and understand the different personalities, the different people that are in the team, and then be able to relate with them that same way in order, because the goal is to help them express optimally their potential. That's the approach I always advise business leaders to use. Take up the role of a coach rather than a boss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very, very important. The thing that lots of people are apprehensive about is, well, yeah, I don't want to be that mean dictatoring boss. I want to be their coach, but then I can't really be their friend, because once you cross that line to becoming a friend, then they're no longer, there's no lines between, oh, I'm an employee and that person's employer. And it gets difficult when you have to deal with either letting people go or hiring and stuff like that. So do you believe that there's a line between becoming a friend or being a coach?
Well, a friend, your coach could be your friend. Your coach could not be your friend, depending, So, but what I think is that the focus is on the results that we want to accomplish, and for that result to happen, there should be a relationship. There should be a relationship, and that relationship could be a friend. Of course, it should be a friendly one, but there are boundaries also. There are boundaries. The people should also understand that this is our leader. So there are certain things that you don't say, or there are certain things that you don't talk, when you are dealing with your leader. That distinction should be there. It should be recognized that this is our leader, okay? But that relationship should also be there so that they can freely talk to you. If they can't really talk with you, have conversations with you, then it will be difficult for them they will be hiding a whole lot of things. They will be hiding a whole lot of things. Things could happen in the organization and they will be hiding it. They'll be hiding it, and that's not good for the organization. They could make mistakes and will be unable to own up to those mistakes. They will be unable, and when that happens, it will be costing the organization. No lesson is learned in such an environment, because there is no psychological safety. Some people will call it. There's no psychological safety for the people to operate. So I believe that there should be a line between the coach and the the workers. I believe that should be aligned, but I also believe that the friendship should be there because it helps foster optimal performance.
Mm-hmm. Now, you mentioned coaching, you've mentioned being able to develop that relationship. And I know that you're surrounding yourself with other people who are your mentors, your coaches, people that you look up to, who's helped you along your way to becoming this amazing person when it comes to leadership. Has there been any scenario or case or failure or challenge that you faced that one of your coaches, one of your mentors came in and go, this is what you need to do. This is how you should look at it. And you go, wow, what an aha moment. Thank you very much. Like, what did you learn from your coaches?
Well, I have several people. I have a couple of persons around me, and there have been times that I didn't quite think of certain things in a certain way, but in a conversation, there was a time I mentioned, I think I made a post on Facebook or something. I mentioned that I was working on a project. And in the process of working on that project, you could have some audacious and big goals and milestones, and you could be looking at certain big things, to accomplish those goals, and you can lose sight of certain little details that when you accomplish them, it becomes a stepping stone to accomplishing other things. So that was my situation at that time. So I was looking up to the big things I had to do, the big steps I had to take, forgetting the little ones. So when I had conversation with this gentleman, he was actually a friend. So when I had conversation with this gentleman, he pointed and said, "Have you done this?" I said, "Oh, have you done that?" So he called that low-hanging fruit, and that's a lesson to me. So today, when I do things, I like to look at what are the things around me. That's a lesson for me. What are the things around me? What are the little things that I can do at the moment? One of the challenges in running a business is a lot of times you can have the challenge of raising the finances that you require to get the business moving or get the business running. But there are little things that you can just do, and immediately as you do them, it becomes a stepping stone for other things to happen. So that was my experience. I learned to look at the little things around me and value them, and begin working from there and journey from there, move ahead. That's one of the lessons I have learned.
Now, as a leader, one of the most important attributes is being able to communicate and speak. Being able to communicate and speak is also one of the greatest fears of most people. So when it came to you, was speaking something that was very natural, that was easy? Were you able to communicate with people without any issues right off the bat, or did you work on it? And if so, what did you do to increase your ability to communicate?
That's a very wonderful question. Thank you so much for asking that. Well, the issue is that, first of all, I love to stand before people and speak. I remember years ago when I was in Africa, that we have what we call, in Nigeria, we have what we call secondary school. I remember when I was in secondary school, I love to have conversations with fellow students. I would leave my class and I'll go to another class. I would like to share some thoughts with them. I was in secondary school. During break time, I'll leave my class and go and to share some thoughts with them. Many years ago then, I would walk to school. So while I'm walking to school, I'm seeking an opportunity to, meet a friend, a schoolmate who is also going to school, so I could have some time to share some thoughts with them. It was just something I loved to do, and I still love to do it. But over time, while I was in the higher institution, I had some leadership role, and so I had the responsibility of standing before people to address them and talk to them and share some thoughts with them. I had that, but I also noticed that even though I had that liking and love within me, and I wanted to do that, but I had some fears with me. The fears were like, will they accept me? Will they listen to me? Will they even want to hear what I want to say? Am I sure what I want to say is correct or right? Those fears were within me. You understand that? Those fear was they were within me. But I have to understand one of the lessons I've learned is that why those were happening. If only I could step out and begin the conversation, all of the fears will go. I wouldn't seem to find them anymore, but I would have been stopped if I didn't take the bold step to just go ahead and share my thoughts and talk about what I think, and so that's one thing that happened. So to begin with, I love to talk. I love to speak to people. I love to stand before people and share my thoughts and, and inspire people. I love to do that. But the fear, I found that if I could step out, the fear will go. So always what I would do is to step out and begin to talk about what I think, begin to talk about what I believe. And as I do that, the fear will go. But then also, I have also come to realize that the fear can actually go. The fear can actually go, and you are not you can come up and not feel the fear at all. It's possible. Okay, so what do I do? Okay, so I begin asking. I've understood also that fear can paralyze. Fear can actually make it that you are unable to actually communicate and express yourself the way you would want to. Even the ideas that you would want to express, fear can make it that you are unable to express that. So I began asking myself a question. Why am I afraid? Why do I think they will not listen to me? Why do I think that what I want to say, it's not correct? Why do I think that way? Because when I ask myself a question, I can see the thoughts come, they will not listen to you. They will not, what you want to say is not correct. So, okay, so if what I want to say is not correct, why don't I find out if it's correct? If I am able to find out that what I'm saying is correct, that takes that fear away, that addresses it. Okay, so they will not listen to me. Well, that's an assumption. That's an assumption, assuming they will not listen to me. What if this is such a way that they will listen? So I began to learn some of these things so that when I come up, now, one of the things I like to do when I stand before people is to tell a story. When I write, I like to begin writing with a story, because I know when you begin writing or talking to people from that perspective, you start telling a story, you gain the attention of the people. They want to listen to you. So I learned to do that, and that's the way I do that to get rid. That's how I did to get rid of that fear from within me, so that I can stand anywhere. I remember years ago when I was in a higher institution, a gentleman who noticed how I would speak. I would stand before, as a leader then in a higher institution, I would stand before the people and I would speak. And so one day, help him make adjustments in his brain to be able to stand before the people, either he's taking alcohol or marijuana, all of that, to be able to face the people in such a way that he will be able to talk. And I wouldn't take anything to do that. So he said he admires my courage. That's because I worked on myself. That's because I had to deal with these issues I'm talking about today. And that's it.
Mm-hmm. Now, you kind of gave some of the strategies that you've done that worked for you. Like you're asking yourself those questions. Why am I fearful? What if this? What if that? A lot of people are still afraid of giving their thoughts because of negative feedback. They're afraid that people are going to judge them. They're afraid that people are going to cancel them, especially on social media. What would your strategy be for that? And what would you tell people who wants to share their story, who wants to be able to share their message, but they're afraid of the negative feedback that comes back?
Well, that's quite interesting. Thank you so much. Now, the first thing I think you need to understand is to, first of all, identify yourself, your personality, yourself. Who are you? Identify your core values, your purpose. Get at home with yourself. Get at home with not being liked by everybody. This is important. So if you understand yourself, your values, who you are, if you get at home with this and these thoughts about you and your ideal self, in other words, have a picture, the right picture of yourself within you. If you do this, it will be difficult for you to become afraid of other people, because what matters is how you see yourself. Now, when people give you feedback, one of the things it could do is to give you a picture of yourself. And if you don't already have a right picture of yourself, then what people say about you can become a problem. So the solution is to have the right picture of yourself. How do you see yourself? You need to address that in your heart and let that sink very deeply. If it sinks very deeply, then the negative feedback of others, you know that these are just the opinions of others. This is just what other people are saying. And so when you listen, you want to understand from where are they coming from. Are they really telling you what you need to know about yourself and make improvements? And if not, you forget about it. You leave it out. But if they are telling you, because usually, like I said earlier on, I believe in we becoming the better versions of ourselves. I believe in that. And other people's feedback can help you become the better version of yourself. And so, but for that to happen, you need the first and first. The foundation is you need to have the right picture of yourself. The right picture of yourself helps you to stand anywhere, wherever you go. So you are not afraid of anybody. Whatever they say the good, you accept the good and constructive critic that comes. They say the wrong things, you drop them and it doesn't get inside. So you are stable. You are just yourself. Mm-hmm. You know, that's what I would say to people who have those challenges.
So, right. So when it comes to speaking, something that you're very, very good at, and that very first time that you went up on stage to speak, the very first time that you were able to engage the audience and speak with multiple people, what was that experience like for you?
Well, I must tell you, it was a first time. And you haven't had such kind of number of people stand before you to listen to what you have to say. Man, I'm like, who are the people I'm going to meet? What are they like? What thoughts will be going on in your mind? And for me, I want to make sure that I come good, I come clean, and and I come and but when I get on the stage, I want to look at the people. I want to focus on the people and not on myself. So when I do that, I discover that all of that goes away. So I'm more focused now on sharing value, delivering something that will help the people. But I must tell you, the first time it was quite frightening, but I had to deal with that.
How does one get there? How does one train their speaking ability? Like if somebody was very shy, right? They're always afraid to speak up. They're always shy. They're always in the back of the room, but they know they have to be able to speak out. What would you encourage them to do on a daily basis so that they can build that confidence to speak up?
One of the things, first, okay, I talked about your ideal self, having the right picture of yourself. Now, one of the ways to do that is to, first of all, write on a paper what you think about yourself, the right picture that you want to have about yourself. Read that to yourself. And sometimes you can look at yourself on the mirror where you can see yourself and you tell yourself, point to what you see on the mirror and say, this is who you are. Talk to yourself about it. Now, you can also, one of the things you can do is lie down on your bed and imagine yourself, picture yourself the right way you want to be seen. Picture yourself. Now, this is working on your subconscious. These ideas I'm sharing will help your subconscious capture the right image of yourself. And the thing is, once your subconscious captures those images, unconsciously, you will express them. Unconsciously, you might not even know when you start talking, when you get in the public, because you have the right image of yourself. And so you are no longer focused on what people think about you because you already know what you think about yourself. So first I say, pen down who you are, pen down how you want to be seen by others. Because the reality is that if you don't do that, people will give you the image that they want of you. But I think that we are supposed to transfer to others the image that we want them to capture of us. And the way to do that is to work on your subconscious, because that's where the problem is. The error code is in the subconscious. Why someone is afraid is because the subconscious have ideas that are not consistent with the way he wants, with his intentions. And so if you write out what you want to be perceived by how you want to be perceived by others, the picture you want others to have about you, and then say it to yourself, and then imagine that of yourself. Imagine yourself walk that way. If you were going to make a presentation, think about the end points, how you want the audience to feel. What is the takeaway? What you want? How do you want the audience to step out of that hall or room feeling? How do you want that? As you imagine all of that, your subconscious will pick it, and you will find that unconsciously you will create that experience physically. That's what I would say.
Awesome, awesome stuff. Now, I'm sure everybody could tell that you are a guy with tons of energy, very, very passionate, very, very motivated, very, very positive as well. How does one maintain that? What's your daily schedule like? What's your daily mindset like? How do you keep that mindset of being so positive and so energetic?
Wow, that's quite interesting. I do quite a lot of things. I'm involved in a lot. So, but one of the things I do daily is to keep the consciousness of who I am, and keep the picture of the goal and the vision that I have, my purpose in life. I keep that alive within me, because that's what inspires me to keep moving and to keep. I'm so much committed to building lives, and so every day as I wake up, I know that I have to build lives today. I know that I have to contribute to organizations and businesses and individuals who wants to grow, who wants to come up to a point where they are able to deliver, because I believe that there is a leadership potential in every human being. And I believe that if we can develop that leadership potential, our world, our society will be a better place, because every human being will be taking responsibility. Every human being will be playing his role in the right way, and making contributions that makes all of us, our lives better. And so I wake up each day realizing that this is my purpose, this is my calling, this is what I have to do. And so I look at my goal and I imagine that, I picture that. Now, when I go through the day, there are challenges, of course. There will be. If you take on the responsibility to do something big, there will always be challenges. There will always be. But I realize that there is no challenge that anybody is facing today that someone has not faced before, or someone is not currently facing, or someone will not face tomorrow. You get that from? So what do? What I try to do is to, if I'm stuck in the process of working on a project, I want to have conversations with people. I want to have to talk. Is there anyone who has done something like this before? I want to talk with them, because I can learn something. And just that could unlock an idea. And then I'm able to do what I want to do. You understand that? So that's one of the things, that's what I do. So I keep my vision. I look at them daily. I imagine those things that I want to accomplish. I remind myself of my purpose and my calling and what I'm here to do. So as I set up, it becomes something that I'm inspired to do daily.
Awesome stuff. That is something I think is very, very important, and people have to keep on reminding themselves who do you want to be, what kind of person do you want to project out to the world, so that they're able to be motivated and energized to help other people. Something that I'm sure people can feel when they listen to you speak, that you do all the time. So thank you very much for that. Now I have one more last formal question for you, and that is, you've already given so much great value here. You have given so many great tips and advice. What is that one thing and one message that you want everybody to remember you for?
Well, So I want everybody to remember that they have leadership potential in there. Every human being, born of a woman, doesn't matter your background, doesn't matter where you're coming from, whether you are protected, you have one leg, you have two legs, you have one hand, whatever. You might be blind, but you have leadership potential in you. And the key is to discover that you have that potential and develop it, and then use it to serve your world. That's the key. And it begins by discovering something in you that you can do and do really very well. It might be dancing. That's where it begins. Take responsibility to discover that. And as you discover that and begin to exercise yourself in that, your potential comes out. And that way you can begin to make a difference in the world and inspire others and inspire hope and do a whole lot of other things. So I want everybody to remember, you have leadership potentials in you. What are you doing with that? Develop it and serve it to your world.
Awesome. Good words to live by. For everybody, remember, you are a born leader. You just have to unlock that leadership skill, as Godswill has talked about. Before I let you go, I have 5 very, very quick questions. Give me the first thing that comes to mind. This is just for fun, rapid fire. All right? So if you were stranded on a deserted island and you get to eat one food for the rest of your life, no consequence, what's that one food that you would love to eat for the rest of your life?
The food I would love to eat for the rest of my life. Oh my God. This is a very difficult question because I like to eat different things. I'm thinking that it will be boring to eat just one food all through life. I mean, Fong, why are you doing this to me? This is very difficult for me to answer. My thought is that I like to eat different things. I like to eat, that's a whole lot of things. So to go through life and eat one food, that would be very difficult for me because I think that life would just be boring.
I see. So you don't have a favorite. Second question. If you were part of a circus, what event would you like to be part of? Are you the lion tamer? Are you the tightrope walker? Are you the masters of ceremony? Which area would you be playing in?
I want to speak. Okay, so I can do master of ceremony. That's fine. But I want to be the one. I want to be the one to talk. I want to be the one to teach. I want to be the one to inspire other people. That's the role I want to do in any event.
Awesome. Do you have a hidden talent that not many people know about?
Pardon?
Do you have a hidden talent?
A hidden talent. Well, okay. I do music too. I sing.
I
sing.
Do we get to hear some notes? Do we get to hear some of those notes? Do we get to hear you sing now?
Oh, okay. So what would you want me to sing?
Just give me a bar of anything that you can sing.
I'm unstoppable today. Unstoppable today.
Awesome stuff. Great words and great words to live by too. Unstoppable. My last question is, what is success like?
Well, for me, success is a journey. It's a journey. It's not a destination, because if you get your goals accomplished today, you want to do something more. But on a larger note, success is about a human being fulfilling the purpose for which he has been set out in the world to function. Every product was created with a purpose in mind. There's an intent. And so I believe that every human being was created for a purpose. And so success, it's about fulfilling that purpose for which you were created. That's it for me.
Awesome. Great stuff. If anybody wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way?
Okay, Facebook / GODSWILL ERONDU, or on LinkedIn too, it's same thing. That's it. I'm just on those two platforms for now. That's for now. That's where I really come to share some thoughts. Facebook.com /GODSWILL ERONDU, and then LinkedIn.com /GODSWILL ERONDU. You get me? Great.
So for everybody, remember, connect with Godswill. He has so much great content on his on his social media. If you get a chance to attend some of his online seminars, workshops, training, his conferences, always great content on all his great speakers on there as well. Make sure you connect with GODSWILL. Thank you very much for your time. It was very, very enjoyable. I got lots of great nuggets from you. Enjoyed your stories and your expertise. And I look forward to connecting with you further on in the future.
Thank you so much, Fong. I enjoyed also the time with you. I'm so grateful and honored to be on your platform. Thank you once again.
Awesome. For everybody else, he is GODSWILL. My name is Fong. Until next time. Today is the day to unlock your peak potential. We'll see you later.